So we'll get started with our Lunchtime Bites webinar. Today we're discussing the topic, working with builders to choose the right home for you. We have a special guest here from Burbank. So I'd like to welcome Alam Singh.
Michelle, thanks for having me.
That's all right. Did you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yep, I'm the regional sales manager for Burbank. I manage the West and Geelong, and I've been working with Burbank from the last 11 years. And as a builder, we've been around for the last 37 years.
Perfect. So we'll jump across to the next slide. Today's presentation, the main topics we'll be discussing will be the key considerations when buying a home off the plan, what is a turnkey home and what is the benefit, and bringing your vision to life, technology and guarantees. All right, so Alan, what are some of the most common considerations when choosing a home?
Look, when you're going to buy, you got to start with your price point first. It's always a good idea to go to a bank or a broker and see how much you can borrow, because your price will determine your location and the size of your property. Then it depends on what location you want to live in. Most of our customers, they pick a location which is close to their work, close to their family or friends, because you've got to think about the everyday living. So when you're not working, you got to be close and accessible to your family. Infrastructure does play a big role in where you want to live, especially if you're relying on public transport. Look for the area where you have maybe train stations close by, or at least a bus that can take you to a train station. Also, if you got young families with kids, consider having parks or the play field areas where you can take your young kids there. Schools, childcare centers, they do play a big role. Then when it comes to a house itself, picking a right design is very important. Especially, with this COVID situation, the whole world has changed. As you know, we're all working from home, and working from home has become a new normal.
Yeah.
So lots of our new inquiries, they are asking for studies or a separate area which can be used as a home office, or at least have a small workstation where you can work from home. And when things, of course, get normal, you maybe want to have a alfresco, to have a barbecues and entertain your friends. You need maybe a formal living, depending on your lifestyle. Also, maybe pick a builder that offers you the flexibility on the designs, like to change the floor plan or lets you pick your own colors and the color scheme throughout the house. Then quality of the build does play a big role. Look for guarantees and the maintenance pledge what builders offer.
Perfect. It gives people a lot of things to sort of look into and ask a lot of questions.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to the next slide. So what are some of the less common but still really important considerations when you're choosing your home?
Look, when it comes to sustainability, look for a house with higher possible energy rating. 6-star is the minimum. That's a requirement from Victorian government, but you can do things on top to make things better. For example, have a double glazed windows throughout the house. Mm-hmm. What happens with double glazed windows is, for example, if you turn on the heating, your house stays warmer than a normal house, so your heating doesn't have to work as much. Consider upgrading your heating to 5-star, or even having a different zones. For example, if you're sitting in a living area, you don't want heating to be running in your bedrooms. So having a zoning, that does help with your bills and everything else. Another important thing is having rainwater tanks. Lots of our customers, they go for rainwater tanks which are connected to the toilets. For example, if you flush your toilet, it's your rainwater in use, not the normal water. Okay. So you're saving on water bills. Then having additional insulation, that does help. When you're designing your backyard, make sure you pick the layout in a way that you have unshaded open space as well, so you can have sunlight throughout the day. That's very important. Especially in Australia, the orientation of sun is on the north side. So it comes from the east, stays on the north, goes in the west. So maybe, hey, consider having your living areas facing north, then have a big windows there so you get sunlight throughout the day.
So you'd say that a south-facing block is actually not a bad consideration?
It's not if you pick the living area to the rear of the house, because the rear of the house is going to get sunlight throughout the day. Actually, south facing is pretty good to achieve the higher possible energy rating,
Oh, wow.
because the rear of the house will be exposed to the light. Have a window on the east side, have a window on the west side, have a bigger windows on the north. So you can actually capture sunlight throughout the day.
Wonderful.
And when it comes to livability, you got to think about your everyday lifestyle. Like even when you're designing a simple things like your driveway, have a setback that's more than 5 meters from the garage. This way you can actually easily park your car on the driveway and you can maneuver around it. Because you don't want to leave your cars on the street and then your neighbors, screaming at you or complaining. And also consider having a wider doorways or the hallways. When you're taking your furniture through, there's enough space. Anti-slip flooring. When you're picking the stone bench tops for your kitchen, always go for heat-proof and stain-proof stone, because stones do crack. Lots of people don't know that.
Oh, really?
If you put your hot pot or something, it does crack sometimes, or even stains of the spices and everything, they sometimes don't go. So pick the stone that gives you stain-proof and heat-proof both. And when you're picking the location of power point or even the light switches, just keep in mind where you're using them, height of windows or the size of windows, considering the light that's going to come in the house.
Wonderful. All right, we'll jump across. So we're buying our first home, but not planning to stay there forever. What sort of advice would you give to those sort of clients?
Look, when you are buying the real estate, it's all about location, location, and location. There are two things you can do. You can either sell the property and move on, or you can rent it out. Especially if you're looking to resell the property, consider the demographics of the area you're going to build in. You don't want to overcapitalize your house in a low socioeconomic area. So just see what is selling in the area and compare your property or what you're going to build with that one. Just make sure you pick the neutral color schemes, because pretty much everyone, you can't go wrong with neutral color schemes. If you go for those harsh or bold colors, some people like it, some don't like it. But neutral, pretty much everyone loves it. And especially if you're renting it out, keep it low maintenance. Even like things like your landscaping, keep it low maintenance. Your tenant don't want to spend their time looking after your property.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So these are important things there.
Perfect. All right, so what is a turnkey home? We know a lot of people have heard that term before. What kinds of inclusions do these have, and what other packages don't?
Look, with turnkey, every builder has a different definition of turnkey. Basically, turnkey is your house is built, ready to move in and to live, except the furnishing. Just make sure you go through the inclusion list properly. At least cover the basics and compare apples to apples when you're comparing the builders, like your letterbox done, clothesline, tile rails, and also the blinds, landscaping and fencing. Yep. Lots of builders actually don't offer landscaping and fencing. And my personal advice is, to do your own fencing, because with fencing, you pay half, your neighbor pays half. And when you get builder to do it, they charge you the full amount.
Ah, so you're paying for neighbor's fence.
Correct. So you can actually save money if you do it yourself.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
All right, so buying off the plan is quite daunting. What kind of guarantees do I have that it will look right and it will be built well?
Look, it's the biggest concern of the consumer, especially if someone has never built a house. Make sure you get the fixed price contract and get everything in writing, because usually builders, they put an inclusion list and everything is listed there. As long as you know what you're getting, no problem with that. And ask for the price freeze as well. Most of the builders, they do offer 3 to 6 months. With us, we offer 12-month price freeze to our customers, and we offer 30 years of structural guarantee.
That's
and cool. And we, on top of that, we offer free maintenance period of 15 months. Industry standard is 3 months. But
Yep.
think about this. I mean, you're building a house, you've put a new material in the house. That material is exposed to new weather for the first time.
Yeah.
It's gone through winter, spring, autumn, and it reacts when it's exposed to the new weather. So it takes about 12 months to settle the house, and we give 3 months on top. It's like 15 months in total. And the reputation of the builder does play the important part. Consider if that builder is a local builder or they're a reputed national builder. And these days things are actually really easy because there's so much available out there in terms of visualizers. You can do 3D tours. You can walk through display homes. You can even go through different color schemes and all that. And see what flexibility builder is offering in terms of picking your own colors and inclusions. See what's included and how many options you got.
And I guess if you're really concerned you may not get the right color scheme, you can use your display homes as a guide, can't you?
Correct. And also the visualizers and the 3D.
Oh, wonderful.
Because picking a color is one thing. When you're combining it with others, making it a contrast, that's where the confusion happens.
Okay.
So we have pre-selected color boards as well, which let's say you pick a certain brick. Okay, with this brick, this tile will suit better. So all the work is done for you. Yep.
Awesome. And then you mentioned also the 30-year warranty.
Yep.
The standards, what is it, 7 years or something?
It's 7 years in Victoria, yep.
That's quite a bit longer.
30 years, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Alrighty. So get in touch if you have any questions about this session, or if you have any other sort of queries along the way, please contact the team. You'll have my details there with melbourne@yourland.com, and then you'll also have Burbank's contact details there also.